Welcome everybody. It seems real estate has beaten many other asset classes when it comes to investing, at least in many micro markets. It's far outperformed equities and gold. And after the crash of gold, everybody's wondering whether money is going to get pulled out of real estate. So if you've got those questions, whether it's a buy question, sell question or an invest question, this is the show that you should be tuning into and sending us your questions. Call us. The numbers are on your screen. Writing into us is as simple as property@ndtv.com. 56388 is the SMS number. So all channels open to you. Let's tell you what you're going to cover today on the show. We'll begin with prime properties in Gurgaon and Noida. That's NCR, two important markets covered right up front. Also smart investments in Mumbai and Pune. We'll go down south after that and hot properties in Hyderabad and Bengaluru. And a special story on big efforts on making Pune slum-free by building homes for the poor. Remember, that's an agenda that we will keep bringing to you because it's something very close to our hearts. Meanwhile, lots has happened in the week gone by, and we're also beginning this week hoping that, of course, the big bill, which is land acquisition bill, does come up in the parliament, at least when the parliament is functional. Meanwhile, let's tell you what else has happened.
Several important announcements came in from Maharashtra housing development, starting with the annual lottery of houses. Bulk of the houses, almost half the number of houses, have been kept for the high income group category, priced between Rs 7,000 a square feet and Rs 16,000 a square feet. This left several people hopeful of affordable homes from Madha deeply disappointed. Another announcement gave a big relief to the owners of vacant Madha houses, allowing them to officially rent them out. A survey has revealed that almost 2.25 lakh houses are not in use, with the owners either staying in different cities or localities. Noida Authority chaired a high-level meeting to discuss the menace of massive encroachment of floodplains in the NCR region. The members of Noida Authority and environmentalists discussed ways to crack down on violators, leading to large-scale ecological imbalance. Land sharks are encroaching massive floodplains of Hindan and Yamuna and selling them as farms. Word of caution: do your due diligence before getting lured by those shady SMSs and brokers selling farmhouses in NCR at obscure prices. A mismatch in demand and supply of retail space is hurting rentals in South India. There is a projected increase of 100% in these markets by 2014 as developers continue to build malls in a saturated market. Bangalore, for instance, will have an oversupply of 141% over the next 2 years. ASI PAC, a mall development consultancy, estimates that out of 175 operational malls across India, only 30 are performing while the rest are running at a loss. Come July, and registration of properties from anywhere will be a reality in Andhra Pradesh. Any house or land, irrespective of location within the state, can be registered across 432 sub-registrar offices. This will be possible with the government establishing a massive state data center in IT hub of Gachibowli. State government has covered 258 offices so far, and the rest will be online within a couple of months. Mumbai civic body BMC has admitted it doesn't have any data on the number of buildings in the city that have come up over the years. This revelation has come as a part of the reply to 2 RTI queries seeking information on the total number and heights of buildings in the city. This raises questions on the validity of authorities' claim to take action against rampant illegal construction in the state. Low-rung government employees can now hope to own a house. The Housing and Urban Development Corporation, or HUDCO, is at an advanced stage of negotiation with state government agencies in Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Punjab and Karnataka to roll out its new rent-to-own scheme. According to the scheme, a government agency will build apartments with HUDCO's loan, which will then be given on rent to government employees. The rent, along with an additional amount, will be deducted from the salary to pay EMI. Mint reported that several large and mid-sized developers are looking to raise money to cut down debt, buy land or finance the construction of their projects by selling NCDs in 2013. NCDs offer a lifeline to many real estate developers who haven't been able to get loans from banks. But these debt issues by real estate firms have come in for some scrutiny recently. Last month, rating agencies downgraded the NCD issues of HDIL and Uptown Limited. Experts caution that these NCDs come with high risk along with high returns and are suitable only for high net worth investors and institutions.
Alright, so that's the big development. We'll be covering a lot of cities in just a while, but let's also tell you some of the more recent moves which have happened, especially in the state of Maharashtra. In a recent move, the Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan formally declared in the legislature that the government's decision to offer floor space index known as FSI of 4 for all cluster redevelopment projects in the Mumbai Metropolitan Region, that's MMR. All layouts of 4,000 square meters or 1 acre will now be able to avail 4 times the total built-up space currently permissible. Presently, there's an FSI of 1.33 in South Mumbai and 1 in the suburbs. Also under pressure after the building collapse in Thane MMR, which killed 72 people, the CM has given a push to the redevelopment of 55 MADA buildings, which is expected to add 1 lakh affordable houses to Mumbai and help around 1,200 families living in dilapidated buildings who have been moved to rental accommodation or been told that they will be moved to rental accommodation. Let's focus on this very important move in our expert segment today, because Maharashtra and MMR is a big market on the show. And who knows Mumbai market better than Niranjan Hiranandani, chairman of Hiranandani Constructions, who's redefined the market in parts and in large parts. Niranjan, thank you very much for joining us. Just to focus on what the CM has announced on new FSI norms, do you think 4 is good enough?
I think 4 is good enough. It is better than 1.33 and 1. So I think it's a move in the right direction, and I think it was overdue. But I must tell you that I'd like to see the writing on the wall and actually see how this whole thing pans out in terms of execution, because it takes a long time from the time the CM issues policy notes to the time it actually gets executed in terms of gazette notifications and actually doing it. I want to just put a small rider. I think what you really need to do is to increase the FSI of the entire city, maybe to 2 or 3 or 4, rather than doing this piecemeal increase of FSI every time, first for slums, then for MADA, then for other areas, then for Bandrakulla complex in the MMRDA region. I think what we really need is a complete increase in FSI and improvement in infrastructure is what we really needed. But kudos to Mr. Prithviraj Chavan for making a start.
Okay, so you actually highlighted a really important point, Niranjan, that this is a good move, but you would like some implementation also to happen. Now, cluster redevelopment was actually approved in 2009, and I have read, these are second-hand figures from a newspaper, that 40 applications have already been given, but approvals are extremely slow to come by. Is there any hope on that front at all? Do you see that the government under the new chief minister is becoming a little bit more proactive when it comes to clearances on projects?
I think he is. I think there is a positive sign that he wants to do it. But you must remember, when you do cluster redevelopment, you require the concurrence of 70% of all the tenants for the purposes of getting approvals from the government. So 70% of the tenants of a project have to participate and give concurrence to the developer or to the builder. Now, under the present circumstances, that can be a big challenge. So I don't see that producing great results in the immediate future. What I would have liked to see, as I said before, was to see that open lands already available to various developers where they are building townships and huge new infrastructure also get similar benefits. So yes, while cluster redevelopment is a good thing, but there is a challenge to get permissions for 70% of the tenants or occupants of such a structure.
Okay, so you said 4 is a good move, but here I had a chat with Ajay Markan, and he said he's actually pushing all the states to look at double-digit FSIs. Is that something which is just a pipe dream? And we could probably end up waiting for a decade to get there? 10, 12 sorts of FSIs? We're comparing ourselves to markets like Hong Kong and Singapore?
I think Mr. Ajay Markan is thinking 10 years ahead of his time. I'm glad that he has finally come to understand that you need higher FSI, whether it's China or Dubai or Hong Kong or Singapore or New York. All urban cities and large populations require higher FSI in order to produce results. So I would be very happy to start with 4 FSI and then move forward. But I think basically 10 FSI could be an ideal target, especially in the case of slum redevelopment and downtown city development, where we could free at least more than half the FSI for the purposes of weaker section and cross-subsidy for the poor.
All right. So one final question, Niranjan. Do you really think that, this increased FSI of 4 in cluster redevelopment will at least encourage more developers to look at that process closely in a landlocked country, city like Mumbai region?
Yes, of course it is. It is a positive sign. It's a positive direction. It's a positive move. It's a positive chief minister. It's a happy situation. And you must understand that all this increase in FSI has to be pari passu with improvement in infrastructure, which is happening now in the state of Maharashtra and Mumbai. I see the CM looking at the coastal road, cross harbour bridge, the metro railway. All these projects are also coming by because you need transport when you increase FSI. So I think, yes, it's a very, very, very proactive move on behalf of the state government, but it needs to go to private plots also where there are no tenants. Only then can you produce large amount of housing at a cheaper rate in terms of per square foot. There is one more point I want to add, and that is that the urban and rural divide is eating up a lot of land in the rural areas for the purposes of urban expansion. If you increase the FSI, the land required from the rural areas for the purposes of urban expansion will become less, and you have to move to less distant places, so transportation costs will come down. However, you have to provide improved infrastructure in terms of metro or roads or power or water supply.
Niranjan Hiranandani, pleasure to have you on the show with us and your views on these recent moves in Mumbai market, MMR to be precise, increase in FSI for cluster redevelopment and of course the redevelopment of some of the dilapidated buildings. Thank you, sir.